Please put your hands up. Hands are going up now. I'm going to start off with Kyle Goon.
Hey, Frank. Are you able to talk about any potential new additions to the team?
Unfortunately, no. Nothing's official yet. So when the time's right, then we can comment on it.
Okay. Is Andre or Wes going to be available tonight?
Andre will not be available. Still has some tenderness in the toe. We're hopeful he plays against Miami. Wes is available, yes.
Okay. Dan?
Hey, Frank. I won't try to trick you into saying anything about the guy that we all want you to talk about. But in terms of Andre, was he able to do anything on court yet? And I guess the last update we got was he couldn't put on a shoe without pain. I assume that's improved.
Yes, that has improved. He did, our practice yesterday was really that of offensive drill work, nothing live. And, he did do some of that, but still has some tenderness in there. So we're going to give it another game.
Bill?
Hey, Frank. As you guys have tried to work through some of the offensive issues you've been having of late, is there anyone on your staff? Where has the creativity been coming from in terms of new ideas, if you've been soliciting them?
From our whole staff. We meet every day. Everybody's empowered to speak on both sides of the ball.
Jovan?
Hey, Frank. I'm curious, over this last 8.5 game stretch without LeBron and AD, what have you learned about the group that you maybe didn't know beforehand, or what have you just kind of gleaned from just the sample that you've seen?
Well, we got a lot of fight in us. I think we're playing extremely hard. I thought we played extremely hard in the Clippers game. Not well enough. I would argue to begin the game, not physical enough. But I think we're playing extremely hard, and I think we're trying to play the right way offensively. But it takes time when you have to make this type of adjustment, and you kind of go through a wave of scouts where you're going to see different game plans thrown at guys that are now the primary options that are not typically the primary options. So those players and us as coaches has to work through those things and counter them in game the best we can, and try to prepare and just improve upon that. But I like the way we're playing. I like the scrappiness that this group plays with.
Mike Trudell?
Hey, Frank, of course you've been out without AD and LeBron for a little bit. Toronto doesn't have Van Vliet and Lowry. Just wondered what you've seen from them these last couple of games and how different what they're having to run is, and how that's something that you see yourself matching up with.
Yeah, well, Siakam, obviously is the guy, playing a lot through him, and, Anunoby and Trent are carrying a big load offensively as well. Trent in particular, to me, is playing, has a far bigger role on this team with those guys out than he had in Portland. So they run a lot more action for him, bringing him off more screens rather than just being spotted up and punished in double teams. So, they're definitely different, but certainly have enough firepower to beat us if we're not on our game. And, we'll have to rise to the challenge.
And then, Frank, just wanted to ask about Mark in the half-court offense and what more you can do in terms of playbook and in terms of what you can run when he's starting at center.
Well, he's a facilitator for us. We're not asking him to go out and try to score 20 points. He plays through the high post, and our guys have to be more aggressive and creative, cutting around him, take advantage of his skill set as a passer. And, obviously he was 3 for 3 from the 3-point line last game. That's another area where we try to use him each game. And it's not just in pick and pop situations, but spacing him and other guys post ups or, small type of split action, those types of things. So, but the key is that he's a facilitator more than a scorer in our offense. And there's great value in that.
Dave?
Frank, I'm going to take another attempt at the he who cannot be named. If you were to add a player right now to your group, is there playing time available for a player? Or if someone was to be added, would that be more of a insurance type of thing? How would that stand?
Well, if we're going to add a player, we're going to add somebody that has a skill set that we need, and we want to add as many weapons as we can, and then use the next however many games are left throughout the season, to get all of our players sharp for the playoffs. That would be the mindset to have all our weapons in rhythm, comfortable with our system, ready to go, so that in any given playoff series, if that player's skill set is needed, they're ready to go, and that would be the plan.
Thank you.
Last three questions here. Michael.
Hey, Frank. Michael Grange from Sportsnet here. What's been the upside, if any, of playing these games without LeBron and AD? How could you see it helping you in the big picture, if at all?
Well, if we can hang on and win some games along the way, there's going to be huge benefits for both the guys that are playing every night right now in terms of getting more opportunity to be comfortable in our system. Defensive schemes, all those minutes, lead to stronger instincts, with defensive coverages, with offensive spacing concepts, and running the sets, how we can be creative in getting them involved. All those things are going to benefit those guys. And then, obviously, if Bron and AD are able to come back, healthy and with this sort of midseason rest due to the injury, I think that could benefit us going into the playoff as well. So, we just got to win some games along the way.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Frank. Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, and it looks like Dan has a follow-up, and then we'll end with Harrison.
Greg, can you tell us what this hypothetical player's name rhymes with? Can you give us any hints? No, I'm just kidding.
Very good at rhyming.
I guess I'm wondering, you mentioned something that this team is going to have to, because you have added new pieces and it's been a while since everybody's been together. What do you think that rebuild of an identity is going to be like? I mean, is that a daunting challenge that you're going to have to put these pieces back together in a relatively quick time frame?
The reintegration of Bron and AD
with a new center, a new and stuff like that.
I think we played with guys like Dre, last year, and that skill set. So I think our group will be familiar there. And obviously, those guys coming back into the system that they won a championship with, I would hope is fairly seamless. It's just going to be about them getting their legs and rhythm and timing.
Okay, and Harrison.
Hey, Frank, you mentioned the fight that this team has shown earlier and learning about that, but you guys have actually managed to hold steady and defensive rating without LeBron and AD. I was just wondering, is that just that fight, or is there anything else that you've seen from this group that's kind of allowed you guys to kind of maintain how good you've been on that end?
Well, we've guys that care. The number one thing with being a good defensive team is having a high care factor on that side of the ball. And, I should shout out my assistant coaches for, continuing to, pour out great game plans, game in and game out of how to take away things on, that our opponents are trying to do offensively. And, we have defensive talent on this team, even with Bron and AD out. Not quite the level with those guys in there, but, we have enough talent to win. We've said that from day one since we entered this phase of our season. We have enough on both sides of the ball to win, but we got some guys that fight defensively, and it's going to be necessary for us to win games during this stretch.
All right, thanks so much, Coach. We'll see you post game.